SteamDB just released their 2025 statistics, and over 20,000 games launched on the platform in 2025 alone. If you're a game developer, you should be looking at that number and shitting your pants. Gone are the days of Steam being a curated storefront that focuses on quality over quantity. If you're a developer who can pay the $100 fee on Steam, you're on there. Which means now more than ever, you as a game developer are in an attention economy. You are fighting for real estate. You are fighting for players' attention. You're fighting for your space on the storefront, and you're fighting for players' attention. Because out of that 20,000 games released in 2025, only around 16% of them received over 100 reviews on Steam, meaning visibility on the storefront is at an all-time low. Right now, as a game developer, you are in a very comparable space to a YouTuber, where you are competing against thousands and thousands of other people uploading videos consistently, fighting for the algorithm to give you a shot and fighting for people's attention. So as a YouTuber who turned into a game developer who can do both of these things at a high level, we released a game at the end of last year, and in terms of revenue and profits, we were in the top 10% of games that launched last year on Steam. Leave a like down below and subscribe for more videos just like this. It's gloves off in 2026. This is the shit that you need to do to at least set yourself up for success long term as a game developer. Number 1, your Steam page isn't a Wikipedia article. Let's get it out of the way. Players are speedrunning your store page in 5 seconds flat. And if they can't tell what your game is immediately, they're gone. They're not thinking about it, they're gone. That means your capsule art, your first screenshots, and your trailer's opening frames need to be actually putting in work. If your short description of your game doesn't start with, "In this game you will," congratulations, you learned how to write documentation. You didn't know how to market. Your Steam page is not there for you to explain absolutely every mechanic that your game has in store. It exists to make somebody stop scrolling, and if it can't do that, it doesn't matter how good your game is, because no one is getting far enough to find out. You have to hit them with the vibe. You have to hit them with the feels. You have to let them know right up front what it's going to be like to play the game, not what's inside of it. And that's the hardest balance that I find developers have to make when they're creating their store page. One of the biggest pieces of feedback that we got for our game was that our intro was way too slow. It took too long to get you into the action. And as somebody who grew up in an age before social media, we wanted to make a game that harkened back to those old school games where story mattered, but we forgot the most crucial thing is that the world has changed. I was watching an interview with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon about how movies have changed over the years, and they're talking about their new movie on Netflix and how action movies have changed, where you can't front load and start slow. You have to drop them right into the action with either like a flash forward or a flashback, get them right in, and you have to write and format the content to keep people off of their phones as they're watching the movie. That's the fucking world that we're in right now, and you as a game developer have to make sure that you are thinking about that every decision you make. And that was the biggest lesson that we learned through the development of our own game. You have to be constantly grabbing attention. And now that I have your attention, I'd like to direct you guys over to our Discord, where in the coming months, we're going to be hosting our first game jam of 2026. So if you're a game developer, a gamer, or just somebody who likes watching this kind of content, the link to the Discord is down in the description and the top pinned comment. Come get connected. Number 2, wishlists are literally the only thing that Steam consistently cares about. You need a system, a funnel, a repeated, boring, unsexy call to actions. Every time I make a video and I tell you guys to leave a like and subscribe, that is a call to action. You need to be doing the exact same things every time you post a devlog, every time you post an update on the Steam Community Hub. Everywhere you post, you need to be reminding people to go and wishlist the title. For players, every time I cover a brand new upcoming game, I always tell you, if you want to support the developers and you're not putting money up, go wishlist the game, because what happens is once you hit a certain threshold as a developer, when you have over 10,000 give or take wishlists, Steam looks at that and goes, okay, there's actually movement here. There's people that are interested in this idea. Let's try to put them in multiple places when they launch to try to maximize sales. Steam doesn't give a fuck about you as a developer. They just want the 30% cut that they're going to get from your game selling. So of course they're going to want to throw you in as many places as possible and set you up for success, but they need to have a reason to give a shit about you in the first place, thus the wish list numbers. When I launched Transients at the beginning of December of last year, we had 50,000 wish lists going into that launch. Let me tell you now, we're almost at 100,000. Even after the launch, we gained around 40,000 wish lists from people going to the page and then going, hey, maybe I'm going to wait for a sale. Let me hit the wish list. That's fucking huge, because once we get into the spring sales, once the game goes on a higher discount than the launch 15%, more and more people are going to convert. That's what you want. You want more people to be interested in the title enough to hit that button to tell Steam, push me out to the people. Steam's not looking for potential, they're looking for momentum. So as a developer, that should be your number one focus as you're growing your community. Which brings me straight into number 3. Do not focus on building your community in the final hours of launch or even post-launch. You're doing yourself a disservice and you're killing your game's momentum before you even start. Developers say they're going to focus on the community once the game is in a good enough state. And while I can understand the notion of not wanting to show something too early, you don't want that early game feedback where players are fucking ruthless and they don't understand what it actually means to be in an alpha state, to be in a pre-alpha state. You don't want to deal with the bullshit. Unfortunately now, when we see the numbers that SteamDB is putting out, you're competing against a fucking tidal wave. You need to take that hit early. You need to start building your community out as soon as possible. Don't get it twisted. There is absolutely no way Transients would have done as well as it did financially, as well as with the reviews, if we didn't have a built-in community of people who came to the game because of me. I would be out of my fucking mind if I didn't realize that the reason why Transients was as successful as it was because of this community. Some people like to twist that into, well, you wouldn't have as many sales as you would without your community. Yeah, no fucking shit. If you don't have a Discord, if you're not posting in your Steam's community hub, or at the very least, some place where people can talk to you before launch, you're not building any sort of anticipation. You're kind of just hiding like a fucking hermit. Get out of the basement and start posting, start being that social media. You have to be a content creator. It's funny, a lot of people like to joke about this notion of content creators and YouTubers jumping into the game dev space. We are the perfect people for it. We're the catalyst for it because we understand what community building can actually bring to the projects that you're working on. And as developers, you have to be able to get out in front of that 20,000 tidal wave games that you're competing against. You have to be able to stand out. Social media is one of the best ways to do so, so do it. One of the best things we did was compile a list of hashtags that we watched on social media. Hashtag indie game, hashtag indie dev, hashtag UE5, hashtag indie game dev. And we watched different developers do different trends where they'd post 10 seconds of their gameplay and then that one would get retweeted by another developer. And we would throw ourselves into those rings with a bunch of other game devs just fighting for that visibility, but also using and utilizing each other's momentum to build each other up. When I say that you're fighting for space and you're looking at everybody as competition, it's not a bad thing as in you have to kill your competition and fuck these other game devs. It's literally the exact opposite. Everybody builds each other up on these social media platforms and they use these all as springboards to basically get more games in front of players' eyes, and you use those trends to look at other developers and see what they're doing and seeing what other creatives are out there doing different things. And it's a very positive thing. It's a very great interaction, and it's a good way to build those wish list numbers up. So get the fuck out there and do it. Number 4, you need to stop competing with games you cannot beat in that attention economy. If you're a small team or a solo dev and your pitch boils down to it's like this massive successful game but smaller, you've already answered your own question why players should care. They shouldn't. You cannot win on content volume. You cannot win in the polished arms race. It's another reason, it's another topic of a video that I want to make, why I think the indie multiplayer FPS is fucking dead. It's been infested by corporations that have given players a false sense of what it means to truly be an indie game in that space. But I digress. That's another video for another day. You can't win on content. You can't win on that polished arms race. You cannot out-feature teams 10 times your size, so just stop doing it. Now, what you can do is be recognizable. And when it comes to that social media play that we were just talking about, that's what your focus needs to be on. If someone can't describe your game in one sentence, it doesn't have an identity. It has a feature set, sure, but features don't sell video games alone. They just don't. It's the reason why Hytale just hit 2.8 million players in like 2 days post-launch. If I can be honest with you guys, I played Hytale. It's a great game. The feature set is bare fucking minimum when you compare it to other games in the market, but it has such a cool identity. It has such a big community behind it. It's literally the prime and shining example of everything that I'm saying in this video. Hytale isn't the best voxel, Minecrafty game out there, but it has a community of people that are willing to give it a shot, give it a chance, and let it fucking breathe and build itself out. That's what you're looking for. You need to pick a lane, you need to own it, you need to commit to it. The amount of people that told us that a single player stealth action tactical FPS doesn't have a market. Sure, we didn't sell Call of Duty numbers, but for a small indie team, being in the top like 5 to 10% of sales, being in the top 5% of review scores, and even though it might not look like it from the outside, being in that top echelon of games that launched in 2025, that's fucking huge. And for us, that was our first title out the gate. We learned so much from it. Our games are only going to be better in the future. That's what it's about. The algorithm doesn't care how clever your mechanics are. The truth is, not only are you competing against 20,000 other games, you're also competing for people's attention in a TikTok brain rot society. Hell, this video was 20 minutes of me breaking down all of these topics, and I realized most people aren't going to make it this far in the video because it's not catchy and entertaining enough. You have to be boom, 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 and if you're not, you've already lost. Steam isn't broken. It's doing exactly what they said they want to do. They want to give everybody a chance. Now, do I agree with the way Steam's gone about it? Do I agree with this explosive vertical line growth? Now, personally, I think a curated storefront is always a better solution than just having it open to everybody. But I also understand the other side of the coin where that accessibility and that openness and that low barrier to entry is appealing for so many game developers. And I also understand that it gives everybody a chance to shine. The problem is we're in a period now where it's complete and total oversaturation. And if you're not doing everything you can to separate yourself from the fucking herd, you've already lost. And there's no point in developing a game if you don't want anybody to play it. It's the same thing when people look at YouTubers and they go, man, you're just making this video for views. You don't fucking say. Of course I'm making a video for people to watch it. Yeah, you fucking dumbass. So if you're a game developer working on a project in 2026, you're gonna lock the fuck in this year. You're gonna start marketing your game, you're gonna start building out your wish list numbers, and you're going to start actually figuring out how to separate yourself from everybody else in 2026. It is a hard task to do. As somebody who has done that in both the YouTube and the content space, as well as the game development space, you can do it. You just need to lock the fuck in. As always, my name is Big Fry. Go to patreon.com/BigFry and join this long list of legends supporting the channel. You get early access to Push to Talk podcasts, exclusive monthly videos and live streams, and so much more. Use code BigFry at checkout at gamersups.gg. Get yourself a shaker and a tub of this sugar-free alternative to energy drinks. And if you're a game developer and you have a project, let me know what you're working on down below. We also have a Discord with an exclusive game developer section where we have a ton of resources for developers to utilize. Go to the Discord, the link is down below. Fill out the game dev role, we'll tag you up, and we have a section where people can just talk about what they're working on a daily basis. And it's more or less a support group for developers to talk amongst one another without the fucking noise. Come through to the Discord, get connected. My name is Big Fry, and I'll see you on the next one.